Thank you very much, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the Doc Watkins Show. Thanks for joining. I'm your host, Doc Watkins, and I'm joined tonight by my good friend Mike Porter back there on the upright bass. We've got a great show ahead for you this evening. Our special guests include San Antonio's own Roma Villavicencio from KENS 5 News, and also the former music director of The Tonight Show and wonderful guitarist and composer, the legendary Kevin Eubanks. And we're going to get to the music in just a moment. But first, let's have a look at the Jazz Texas News. The world's third largest record label, Warner Music Group, has gone public this week. This comes as great news for anyone who still believes they can make money investing in fax machines, encyclopedia sets, and alarm clocks. Millions of cicadas, known as Brood 9, will emerge from the ground in several states this year. These cicadas have been described as screeching like a loud lawnmower, an alien-like wail, and a field of out-of-tune car radios, which makes Brood 9 still more enjoyable to listen to than Maroon 5. According to tennis superstar Rafael Nadal's uncle, Tony, his nephew's toughest opponent isn't the greatest all-time player, Roger Federer, but is actually Novak Djokovic. In a related story, according to musician Doc Watkins' uncle, Bocephus Watkins, Doc's toughest competition isn't Michael Bublé, but is actually someone with a similar name to Doc Watkins, but much, much more popular, Doc Martin. With the current NBA season suspended, the city of San Antonio continues to miss out on lowriders honking their horns whenever the Spurs win a game. However, the Spurs have announced a new tradition in which lowriders will honk their horns 4 times whenever the Jeff Davis law firm settles a case. That's 4 times for 444, 4444. A new documentary about the classic film Rocky will be narrated by the Italian stallion himself, Mr. Sylvester Stallone. The behind-the-scenes documentary mostly features footage of Stallone repeatedly yelling the word, Adrian! According to reports, Major League Soccer has threatened a lockout if the Players Union does not accept their offer, which means there won't be any American soccer matches this season. You can read all about this in the new issue of Who Gives a Crap Monthly. And finally, according to NADA, the National Anti-Doping Agency, athletes are not currently able to be tested for steroids due to COVID-19 because it's too difficult to collect and transport their blood samples. Meanwhile, the New York Yankees announced they expect to win the World Series by having just signed Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, and Manny Ramirez. In related news, with no roid testing happening in the near future, the U.S. cycling team is also happy to announce their latest signing, Lance Armstrong. And that's it for the Jazz Texas News. We've got some special requests ahead. Thanks so much for sending those in. This next tune goes out to Bill, and this is a tune called Moanin' by Bobby Timmons, who was the piano player from a band called Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, a band that we'll talk about in a little bit with Kevin Eubanks. Hope you enjoy this. This is Moanin'. Thank you very much, everybody. That's Moanin' by Bobby Timmons. All right, we want to give a big shout out to our man behind the scenes doing all the camera work, our video production man, Mr. Chris Zions, everybody.
Science!
He's with Wizard Productions. You can look him up on Facebook and Instagram and online. Terrific fellow. We're going to do another special request for you now. This one goes out to Rebecca. This one's a tune called Caravan. It was written by the great Duke Ellington and his trombonist, Juan Tizol. We hope you enjoy this one. It goes a little something like this. Matter of fact, it goes a lot like this. Thank you very much, everybody. That's Caravan by Duke Ellington and Juan Teasel. That's Mike Porter on the bass. Thank you, Rebecca, for the request. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my first guest tonight is the co-host of Great Day SA and a reporter for KENS 5 News right here in San Antonio. She was born and raised in California, joined the KENS 5 News team in 2016, and couldn't be happier right here in the Lone Star State. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, would you please welcome to the stage Roma Villavicencio. Roma, how you doing?
Hey everybody, I'm doing so good. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. Welcome to the show.
I am honored to be on the Doc Watkins Show.
So now the tables are turned, and it's normally you are interviewing me, and now I am interviewing you. So let's get right to it. If you had to be stuck on a desert island for the rest of your life with any one of the Spurs players, past or present or future, who would it be?
Oh my God. Oh no. I would say Manu Ginobili, but then I love Patty Mills, but then I also love Lonnie Walker and DeMar DeRozan. Okay, gosh.
You gotta boil it down to one, though.
Oh God. I'm gonna say Manu, just because we might be able to have fun because we can both speak Spanish. So we can like be bored and speak English and then have a lot of fun and speak Spanish.
That is a good way to think about it, because you want to be able to communicate. So funny story actually that you said that. I didn't know that you were going to say Manu, but my brother Brian is currently hiking the entire Appalachian Trail, all 2,200 miles of it in a Manu Ginobili jersey.
What?
Yeah.
Brian, who works here?
No, Brian does not work here. That's Jimmy.
See, he's
different
got brothers.
brother.
And
I have lots of brothers.
Yeah. Okay. What? That is so cool.
Yeah, so he's in the Manu journey. I would have picked Patty Mills, but Brian's hiking the whole thing in the Manu jersey. You can look him up on his Instagram handle is Appalachian Trail 2020, and he takes pictures every day and everything. So Manu's terrific. I love Manu.
Yeah, I actually met him this last summer
really?
at the Hyatt Regency, the resort. I was that person, y'all. I interrupted his nice family lunch, and I didn't really interrupt it. He was getting a drink or something, and I just had to be a groupie, and I had to say, can I please take a picture with you? You're a legend. And in Spanish, of course. I used my Spanish to make it a little more cool, and he was super cool about it, and we took a picture.
Yeah, he's terrific. So he did the fan thing. So here you are being interviewed. How does it feel to like have the switch?
Y'all, I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's a little surreal, I'm not gonna lie, but I know you were friends, so it's fun. It's kind of like, all right, I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna let you take over.
So, fun fact about Roma is that I'm from Medford, Oregon originally, and I went to college in Southern Oregon at Southern Oregon University in Ashland, Oregon. Mm-hmm. And Roma, before moving to Texas, you were a news reporter in Ashland. And right? I mean, right
Medford,
before you came to...
Yeah, and I lived in Ashland, where Southern Oregon University is, and so I remember coming here, and most of all, thank God I met you through the show, so it was a more intimate connection, and meeting your beautiful wife. And I'm like, oh yeah, I used to work in Oregon, and when you told me that you're from there, I was like, no way, it's just such a small world.
So what kind of stories did you report on in Ashland, Oregon, versus what kind of stories you're reporting on now in San Antonio?
So I reported on a lot of crime, a lot of fire. Fire season is really big in
That's
Southern
the main
Oregon.
crime in Ashland, Oregon is the trees.
Yeah, the trees, man. They're poor trees, they just get literally lit up. Okay, so...
They're all stoned and stuff.
I meant fire-wise, but yes, absolutely, Doc.
I'm only talking about the trees, not the hippies.
Exactly, yes.
I love the hippies.
Most of it was a lot of fire season, so basically your months of, I want to say June through August, sometimes September, literally being out there in the fires, just wearing my whole fire outfit, believe it or not, with my camera and my tripod, and just acting like I'm an ODF firefighter, a wildland firefighter. Also, though, a lot of crime, which, when I say a lot of crime out there, it's very different. It's a smaller city, and so the bigger the city, the bigger the crime. But for there, it was a lot of random murders and shootings and unsolved murders, a lot of that. And so being there, coming now to Great Day SA, which is a very, as all of you know, vivacious, family-style show. It's very different, but it's still a part of both are a part of me that I'm really grateful I can be a part of and showcase and help the community in either way.
I actually know some detectives in Southern Oregon who are still working on some of those unsolved things that happened, and that's a whole nother story. But I wanted to also ask you, of all the interviews that you've done, what's the most awkward interview? Other than this one.
In Oregon or in Texas?
It doesn't matter.
Oh man, I can't. People always ask me something like that, or what is my favorite story I've ever covered, and I just cannot pinpoint it. Awkward or frightening, I would say. I covered the murder trial of a woman who, oh gosh, Susan Monica. She in Oregon. She killed a couple people and tragically fed them to her pigs, and a lot of that.
Allegedly. That's
yes.
I would.
But she was actually found guilty, so it's not
okay.
allegedly after that. But Doc, it was to be in the courtroom and seeing all that. It was awkward. It was surreal. It was bizarre. It was inhumane. You know, it was all these things. So crime-wise, that was one of the most memorable in my mind. But awkward, I've had it all. I've been out there knocking on doors in the middle of nowhere with like a gun pointed to me. What are you doing on my property? I have
That's
had.
you, and you,
like
and
a little
you're
tripod.
you.
Yeah, and my little tripod. But in Oregon,
Well,
it's, you know, rural Oregon is
Yeah.
kind of like the Wild West. There's no law enforcement, and so people are protecting their property. So
Yeah.
as a reporter, you have to find that balance of your safety and getting the story. But in Texas, I would say one time an older man wanted me to interview him, but he asked me for my phone number, and I was like, okay, I'm out, bye, because this is not what I want. So there's a little bit of you really experience everything when you're out there in the field. But on the show, I really haven't had awkward experiences. We all have people who are shy or scared to be on the show, so you always have to calm someone down. Like, you have to calm me down right now, right? have
You
to
know,
calm me
in
down.
Oregon, they have a saying that, you know, they normally say that this guy can't tell the forest from the trees. In Oregon, they say that this guy can't tell the hippies from the trees because of all the long hair and everything and the moss on the trees. They look very... So we were talking about not a lot of boundaries in the wild, wild west in Oregon. It is very true. You don't always know what you're looking at. It
You
could
don't.
be anything. Roma, I want to give you, you've been such a terrific sport, and we're going to bring you back in just a little bit when we bring Kevin Eubanks on, because when Kevin was here a year ago, you interviewed him, and that went so much better than the way that the interview is going to go in just a little bit with me and Kevin. But you've been such a terrific sport. Thank you for coming on the program. I'd like to give you just the opportunity briefly. We can turn the tables back 180 degrees. Would you please interview me?
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. Doc Watkins, so you were born and raised in Medford, Oregon. What brought you to San Antonio, Texas?
I'd really like to answer that question, but unfortunately we're out of time.
Boom, bada boom.
Give it up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Roma.
Thank you so much, Doc. I'm honored to be here.
You'll be right back, right?
Yes, I'll be
Okay.
back. Maybe not. Yes, I will. I
Don't
promise.
go anywhere.
Okay.
That's Roma Villavas. Roma, okay, I'm just, you know, we're live here, and I keep screwing up your last name, and I've practiced it so many times, but I get tongue-tied. And would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Roma Villavicencio.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Give
no
it
middle
up.
name. No middle name. Just Roma Villavicencio.
Roma Villavicencio.
Yes,
Thank you,
Doc
Roma.
Watkins. Love you.
Love you too. Okay. So back to the music. We're going to do another special request. This one is an old tune from about 100 years ago called Body and Soul. It's a beautiful jazz ballad. We hope you enjoy it. Here goes. That's Body and Soul, and that one went out to Rebecca. Thank you, Rebecca, for the request. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my next special guest spent 15 years as the leader of the Tonight Show band. He's an accomplished guitarist and composer, having performed and recorded with such jazz legends as Ron Carter, Art Blakey, Dave Holland, Diane Reeves, and many, many others. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Mr. Kevin Eubanks.
Doc!
What's
Doc,
up, Kevin?
what's up, man? Good to see you guys. You guys sound great. The duo.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank
Beautiful,
you very
man.
much.
Sounds beautiful. Yeah.
So, can you believe that? So, we were going to play together for an entire week in the month of June this week, or this month.
we
You were
had
going
it
to come
lined
out,
up,
and you were
man.
going to bring Smitty and the rest of the guys, and we were going to have like some jam sessions. That's a true story, everybody. We had booked Kevin and the guys to come out in June and play an entire week's worth of shows, and we'll get to that later on down the year or next year, you know, when the time is right. But it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Cool, man. And I love the show.
Thank you. You know it's not a real show, right?
No, really? I thought it was. Of course it's a real. Beautiful, man.
Kevin, I wanted to talk about music with you because is it true we played our opening tune was Moanin' by Bobby Timmons, who was the piano player for Art Blakey for so many years, and you recorded with Art Blakey. Is it true that you are the only guitar player to ever have recorded with Art?
As far as I know, yeah. I hope that's not true, because I want to hear some other guitar players playing with Art. And maybe at a club somewhere in Europe or somewhere else, somebody had to record something with a guitar player. But of the guitar players that I know of, it's just me. But if there's anybody that has any recordings with other guitar players playing with Art, I'd love to hear it.
So you played with Art in the 1980s, and coming up in that tradition, I mean, those cats probably told you stories about the earliest days of jazz. And how does it feel to have that kind of connection firsthand? Because for us, it's always been, you know, here in San Antonio, we talk to cats like you, and we have a second and third hand conversations. I'm not speaking for everybody, but just for myself. But for you, you know, talking to these guys, I mean, how does that feel to have firsthand knowledge of what happened in the earliest days of jazz and how that music came about?
It started making you feel comfortable in New York. Moving to New York, you know, my first, you know, broke as could be, and just start playing with cats at Bradley's, Vanguard, you know, a lot of the lovely clubs in New York. But when you start hanging out with the mentors that you try to emulate and learn from, and they start telling you stories, which is another way of transferring information to people. Because you start to understand the feelings and the personalities, and one thing sound like, wow, that must be terrible. And they say, no, man, that was so much fun. We learned how to do this. We learned how to do that together. So along with the storytelling, you start to understand how people just kind of got along on the road, how they solved problems on the road, and they started becoming more and more feeling like you're a part of them. So it gave you more and more confidence as you went along.
I had a couple friends who, this is several years ago, they saved up all their money and they moved to New York to make it on the jazz scene in New York City. And within a year, they were out of money and they had to come back home. Were you able to make it right off the bat when you moved to New York City?
Oh, no. No.
And what did you do?
That's funny when you said, that's funny you said you guys saved up money. There was no money to save up. You just went. There was like, it was like, oh, I'm going to save up money for you. There was no money to save up. It was just...
Now, you know, nowadays everybody, they're like, well, when I have about 130 grand, then I'll move to New York and try and make it as a jazz musician. So how did you make it with no money saved up and you just show up and start playing jobs? How was it?
I went to a buddy of mine who had a van, and I said, this is it. I'm moving to New York. Could you drive me from Boston to New York? And I'll pay you for it. I have $800. That's all I have to my name. And I'm going to New York. And a friend of mine in Brooklyn wound up going with my brother and some other people from college. And I went to New York with $800. within 2 weeks, the $800 was gone, and I found a job. Making sandwiches in a restaurant, putting pamphlets in an artist building. As a matter of fact, a beautiful artist tower building. I think up 9th Avenue and 49th. And all these musicians, famous musicians, lived there, and I'm sticking flyers under there. Vitamin D at your new pharmacy store, and anything to get through it. And I was really shy, which didn't help. So I just wanted to practice and practice, because I didn't feel like I was ready to play with people. And I was already playing with Art. I mean, the tour was over, and I met everybody on that tour, from James Williams, Bill Pierce, Wynton and Branford, Bobby Watson, a lot of wonderful people. And my brother Robin played with us there too. So I got to meet everybody. So when I got to New York, I just wanted to practice. I didn't want to do gigs yet. I just wanted to practice and feel more and more confident. And I would go and watch all the piano players at my favorite club at the time was called Bradley's. I actually did a record there once I started getting things going live at Bradley's. All the great piano players were there. I mean, everybody just played there. It was, Larry Willis, Mulgrew Miller, all these people played all the time. James Williams, Kirk Lightsey, and I got to be there. I was milking one glass of beer all night because I was broke. So I kept sipping out of it, and the bartender just shake his head. Oh my God. Just move to the side. It's all right. I know you're here for the music. And then after a while, I got to start playing there with everybody. So little by little things happen. Meanwhile, you do whatever you do to, pay rent and take the subway back and forth. I mean, it's the classic New York story.
Yeah. Well, years later, here we are, and I'm so blessed to know you, Kevin. And I'm so glad that you came on the show tonight. And you brought your guitar, you brought some music for us. And so I would love to just sit back and listen to you play a tune. So why don't you take it away? What are you going to play?
I think I'm going to just make something up.
I like it. Kevin Eubanks, everybody. Take it away, man.
All right. Okay.
Kevin Eubanks, everybody. That's beautiful, Kevin. Thank you so much, man.
Hi, Kevin.
Look who's here! There she is.
I wanted Roma to
What's
say
going on,
hi
Roma?
because when you were here a year ago, we did a great DSA spot the morning of the shows that you did at Jazz Texas, and Roma came and interviewed you. And now I'm
did.
interviewing
That was
Roma, and
beautiful.
Roma's here with, and it's all just a mess.
So, Kevin, are you going to interview me now?
I'm definitely going to. I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, it's
Because
so good to
I did-
see you.
No, I'm going to interview you. No, you got it now. Okay.
Uh-oh. No, I was definitely kidding, but okay,
No,
go
no,
ahead.
no, that's all right. It's all right. Okay. All right. Because I heard, and I just want to know if this is true, that she's like, what are you talking about? I heard that you are a lovely singer. So I was just wondering if perhaps you would enlighten us with a beautiful song.
Okay, are y'all ready for this? Here
We're
we
ready.
go.
Let's do it.
But Doc, you gotta follow. No, it's not jazzy. This is my karaoke
I'll
song.
follow
Ready?
you, okay?
Here we
Yeah,
go. Red, red wine, stay close to me. Don't let me leave. Red,
Go ahead,
red
Roman.
wine.
Go ahead,
Girl, you
Roman.
look so fine. You make me blow my mind. Red, red wine. You make me feel so fine all of the time. Oh, Kevin,
There you
where are
go.
you at? I need my guitar.
I'm in
What's
there.
happening? All right, yeah. Woo. Lord have mercy.
I knew it was true.
Well,
I knew it was
Ladies and
true.
gentlemen.
Go ahead, Roman. Go ahead, Roman.
thank you. Are we creating an album together, all
No.
three of us?
This
No.
is it. This
No.
is it. We're there.
Yeah. Well, I hope that
It's
people
good
are
to
still
see you.
watching the show.
Roma, thank you so
No,
much
that
for
was
coming
beautiful.
on our show tonight.
No,
And
Doc,
Kevin,
it is not
thank
over.
you so much.
I have something for Doc. Kevin, it's coming your way, but Doc, I've been making bracelets.
At what point did I
during
lose control of this
quarantine,
broadcast?
and I decided I needed to make you one, so I want to hand this to you. I'm all about the evil eye, so I'm gonna go give this to Doc. But thank you all so much
Okay.
for having me tonight, Doc. This is for you, Kevin. I love you, and I will make you one as well. Good to see you.
Please, please.
The bracelet. It is
What do we have?
So it's the evil eye. You gotta wear it, but the evil eye attracts the bad energy.
Roma gave me the evil eye, figuratively
No,
and
like,
literally.
in a good way.
Roman, thank you so much. We love you. Kevin, we love you. That was beautiful. It's
Doc.
so great hanging. And next time,
My
we'll be
man.
here at Jazz Texas in person, okay?
Absolutely, man. Thanks, Doc.
All right.
Good to see you.
You
All
too,
right,
Kevin.
take care
Kevin
now.
Eubanks, everybody.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Woohoo!
I'm going to put my evil eye right over here, and we'll return to that later in the program. Thanks, Roma. This next request goes out to Mike, not Mike Porter, different Mike, but this is a tune that Mike loves to play back there on the bass nonetheless. It's a tune called But Not For Me by George Gershwin, and we're going to feature Mike back there on the bass, so here goes. So Chris, when we have the bass solo, you just zoom right in on that dude with the fingers and the hands and everything, okay? Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, that's Chris Zients. But Not For Me by George Gershwin, featuring Mike Porter on the bass. Well, everybody, we realize that many of you are stuck at home and trying to find fun things to do to keep yourselves occupied by staying indoors, like playing board games and other such activities. And we here at Jazz Texas decided to create our own board game that you can play along right here at home with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, we give you the board game. Now, you know how the board game works. We pick two famous people who are both boring. Then I decide who bores me the most. Tonight on the board game, who's more boring, Thomas Edison or Gwyneth Paltrow? Well, on the one hand, Thomas Edison was an inventor and a businessman. His middle name was Alva, and his first two kids had the name Dot and Dash. Kind of interesting, not that much. His first invention was an electric vote recorder, which is kind of ironic considering that over a century later, those machines still don't work. Edison invented the phonograph, and his first recorded words were, "Mary had a little lamb." Not very exciting, really, but on the other hand, Gwyneth Paltrow is an actress, a singer, author, and a businesswoman. She's received an Oscar and a Golden Globe, yet I can't really name one movie she's been in. Gwyneth was married to Chris Martin for a while, the lead singer of the band Coldplay, but I can't name any of their songs. Gwyneth owns a company called Goop that makes a candle that allegedly smells like... For one, I don't know if that's false advertising, but it's a tough call. If you had to pick who bores you the most, Thomas Edison or Gwyneth Paltrow, the correct answer is Gwyneth Paltrow. And thanks for playing the board game. All right, we're going to get back to some music now. We're going to do a little Nat King Cole for you. First, we've got a couple birthday shout-outs. We want to wish a special happy birthday to my good friend Jonathan Card. He turns 32 today. Happy birthday, Jonathan. And we also want to wish Edith a special happy birthday. Edith, your birthday I know was about a week ago, and so this is the birthday month time. Even though it was in May, I suppose it's the birthday quarter for you, Edith, and we want to send this one out to you, a little Nat King Cole. This one's called Love. Here goes. Is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore. And love is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it tick my heart, but please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. Come on, Mike, let's swing out, all right? for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. Is even more than anyone that you adore can love. Is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart, but please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. Love was made for me and you. Love was made for me and you. Happy birthday, Edith. That's Mike Porter on the bass. And on the cameraman work, Chris Zients. We want to thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's program, ladies and gentlemen. We've got time for just one more number before we say goodnight. We want to remind you that we are live streaming every Tuesday and Friday night at 8 p.m. Texas time, so I hope you'll join us on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. We have special guest vocalist Jonathan Card and guest New York City club owner Tommy Tardy, who has two really wonderful clubs in New York City. We're going to find out what's going on in his city and in his industry, and what he plans to do next in the music world in New York. And I'm really looking forward to those interviews and hearing Jonathan sing, so make sure and tune in. We'd like to leave you with one of the most iconic tunes of all time in the jazz repertoire. This one pays homage to the great Louis Armstrong, one of the great innovators and founders of this wonderful genre that we get to participate in right here in San Antonio. This one's called What a Wonderful World. Thank you so much for tuning in, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure and tell all your friends, invite everybody to watch our next show next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central Time. It's been a treasure to be with you. Thank you so much, Roma, for coming out. Thank you to Kevin Eubanks, to Mike Porter, and to Chris Zients. Science! That's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much, and good night.